I woke up choking on her perfume. Chanel No. 5. The kind that screams old money and fresh kills. My hands weren't mine. They were manicured claws. Nails painted blood red, wrapped around a silk pillow in a penthouse I couldn't afford. And as I stumbled to the mirror, Victoria Hale's face stared back at me, smirking like she'd finally won, except I was the one pulling the strings now. She'd called me a liability in that boardroom last Friday, her voice dripping honeyed venom as she pinned the multi-million-dollar fraud on me. Elizabeth, darling, you're just not cut out for this league, she'd purred, while the executives nodded like puppets. I lost everything: job, savings, the fragile trust of a life built on late nights and borrowed confidence. But karma's a bitch with a PhD in irony. And, come Monday, I'd make her beg for mercy in her own skin. The rain hammered Manhattan like it had a personal grudge, turning the streets into slick black mirrors that reflected the neon bleed of Times Square. I remember that Friday evening as if it were etched in acid on my soul, the kind of day that starts with promise and ends with your dignity in shreds. I'd been at Sterling and Hale Investments for 8 years, clawing my way from intern to senior analyst, the token Midwestern girl in a sea of Ivy League sharks. Elizabeth Harper. That's me, 34. Divorced, with a one-bedroom in Hell's Kitchen that smelled like takeout and regret. No silver spoon, just grit and a master's from Ohio State that everyone pretended was a participation trophy. Victoria Hale was the queen bee, the firm's co-founder, a silver-haired viper in Chanel suits who could charm a boardroom or gut you with a smile. 52. Widowed. Untouchable, rumors swirled, she bedded clients to seal deals. But no one dared whisper it too loud. She'd mentored me once, back when I was green, feeding me just enough praise to keep me loyal. You're my secret weapon, Liz, she'd say, her hand on my shoulder like a brand. But secrets have a way of rotting. It started with the Meridian account, a $50 million hedge fund play on green energy startups. I flagged irregularities 6 months in, cooked books, phantom trades, money vanishing into offshore shells. I brought it to Victoria privately, my voice shaking as I laid out the spreadsheets. This isn't right. We're exposed. If the SEC sniffs this, it's over. Her eyes, those ice blue chips, narrowed just a fraction. Exposed? Darling, ambition is exposure. You think I built this empire playing it safe? She leaned back in her leather throne, lighting a cigarette despite the no-smoking signs, perks of power. Trust me, Liz. I've got it handled. You're overreacting, and it makes you look small. Small. That word lodged in my gut like a splinter. I pushed, emailed backups to my personal drive, but she waved it off. You're not fit for this level of trust yet. Stick to the numbers. Leave the chess to me. By week's end, the account imploded. Whistleblowers, anonymous, of course, leaked the fraud straight to the Journal. Headlines screamed, Sterling and Hale's dirty green gamble, and the finger pointed squarely at me. My name on every report. My signatures forged on approvals I never saw. Victoria's testimony? A masterpiece of deflection. Elizabeth was brilliant but impulsive. She handled the day-to-day. I relied on her judgment. The boardroom that Friday was a coliseum. Suits from Goldman. Lawyers with briefcases like battering rams. Victoria at the head, composed as a marble statue, while I sat at the foot, sweating through my thrift store blazer. We've uncovered discrepancies, the lead counsel intoned. sliding dossiers my way. My heart jackhammered as I flipped pages, emails from my account, timestamps I'd never logged, authorizing the shell transfers. MS. Harper, this appears to be your work. Embezzlement on this scale. It's career-ending. Prison? Likely. I gaped, words failing. That's not, I didn't, but Victoria cut in, her voice a silken blade. Liz, we all make mistakes. But this? Stealing from the firm that gave you everything? It's unforgivable. The room murmured assent. No one questioned her. She was the halo around the scandal. The grieving mentor betrayed by her protégé. They fired me on the spot. Escorted out by security, my cardboard box of desk trinkets, framed photo of my ex, a dying succulent, banging against my hip as I hit the elevator. Rain lashed the lobby windows like it knew. Outside, cabs splashed past, and I stood there, soaked and invisible, the city chewing me up like yesterday's news. My phone buzzed, texts from colleagues who'd ghosted me hours ago, pity emojis from HR, and one from Victoria. Call me if you need a reference. Chin up.
Kiddo. Kiddo.
I hurled my phone into the gutter, watching it shatter under tires. That night, in my dim apartment, I uncorked a bottle of cheap Merlot and scrolled job boards until my eyes blurred. Fraud charges loomed. My savings would evaporate on lawyers. The betrayal burned deepest, not just the framed job,
But the intimacy of it.
she'd know my dreams, my fears. I'd covered for her once, years back, burying a minor ethics slip on a client dinner that skirted bribery lines. We're family here, she'd said then. Family. What a crock. I didn't sleep. Dawn crept in gray and unforgiving, the kind of light that exposes every crack. I dragged myself to the bathroom mirror, splashing water on a face puffy from tears and wine. You're done, I whispered to my reflection. Over. But as the water swirled down the drain, something shifted, a dizzying vertigo, like the world tilting on its axis. My vision doubled, the porcelain basin warping. I gripped the sink, knuckles white, and when the nausea passed, I looked up. It wasn't me staring back. Victoria's face. Those sharp cheekbones, the Botox-smooth forehead, lips parted in shock. I touched her cheek, feeling the stranger's skin yield under my fingers. A scream tore from my throat, but it came out in her husky timbre, refined and commanding. I staggered back, crashing into the towel rack, the mirror fracturing my horror into shards. This wasn't a dream. The penthouse bathroom, hers, on the Upper East Side, gleamed with marble and vanity clutter, La Mer creams, diamond studs on the counter.
How?
When? Panic clawed at my spine. I rifled drawers, found her phone locked, but Face ID worked with this face. Texts from lovers, assistants, a reminder, board call, 9 a.m. Spin the narrative.
Monday.
Sterling and Hale's emergency meeting to salvage the Meridian fallout. In her body. My mind reeled. Had I blacked out? Drugged myself?
No.
This was impossible. Supernatural bullshit from bad horror flicks. But the weight of her breasts, the sway of her hips as I paced, the faint ache of her arthritis in the knuckles, it was real. Too real. I collapsed onto her king-sized bed, silk sheets tangling like restraints. Rage bubbled up, hot and clarifying. She'd stolen my life, now I'd walk in hers, The boardroom awaited, her throne empty. And Elizabeth Harper, buried under her name, probably waking up in my ratty apartment, screaming at a face that wasn't hers. Poetic. Almost. I laughed, a bitter bark in her voice, and it felt like armor snapping into place. By 7 a.m., I was in her walk-in closet, selecting a power suit, navy Armani, pearls that cost more than my yearly rent. Makeup from her arsenal, smoky eyes to hide the fear, lipstick like war paint. Her driver arrived at 8:15 sharp. A stoic guy named Marco, who called me a mess. Hail without a blink. Traffic snarled on the FDR, but I barely noticed, rehearsing lines in my head.
Deny.
Deflect.
Destroy.
No, worse. I'd confess. Just enough to crack her facade. Let the wolves smell blood. The Sterling and Hale Tower loomed on Park Avenue, glass and steel stabbing the sky. Elevators whisked me to the 52nd floor, where assistants scattered like minnows. Morning. Victoria. One chirped, handing me coffee black. 2 sugars. Just how she liked it. I nodded, her poise settling over me like a second skin. The boardroom doors swung open at 9, a circle of grim faces. The chairman, silver-haired and skeptical. The lawyers, sharks in pinstripes, a few VPs who'd kissed her ring for promotions. I took my seat at the head, the leather creaking under me. Gentlemen, ladies, I began, her voice rolling out smooth as bourbon. Let's cut the bullshit. Meridian was a house of cards, and I built it. Gasps rippled. The chairman leaned forward, brow furrowing. Victoria. What the hell? I authorized the shells. I pressed, leaning in, eyes locking on each one. Falsified the reports. Elizabeth Harper? She tried to warn me. I buried her warnings to protect the firm and myself. Lies wrapped in half-truths. Her own playbook turned against her. Murmurs erupted. A lawyer scribbled furiously. This is an admission. Damn right it is. I stood, pacing like she did in victory laps. But it's also salvation. We pivot. Full disclosure. Restitution fund from my shares. I step down as co-founder. Take the hit publicly. Elizabeth gets reinstated. Cleared. With a settlement that shuts her up. The room hung in stunned silence. I'd just handed them a lifeline and torched her empire in the process. By noon, the board voted. Victoria Hale. Scapegoat. Resignation drafted. Assets frozen pending investigation. As I left the tower, fired from my own firm, in her skin, I felt the first thrill of vengeance uncoil. But it was just the opening act. Elizabeth's body waited somewhere, trapped in my wreckage. And I wasn't done twisting the knife. The fallout hit like a nor'easter, whipping through Wall Street with gale force gossip. By afternoon, my Victoria's phone was a hornet's nest, reporters sniffing for quotes. Board members backpedaling with passive-aggressive texts. Bold move. Vic. Reckless, but bold. I silenced it, slipping into a cab uptown. Marco had dropped me at the office. Now I needed to find my body. The real one. The thought sent a shiver down this borrowed spine. Where was Elizabeth Harper right now? Freaking out in my apartment. Pounding on doors no one answered? I directed the cab to Hell's Kitchen, the driver glancing in the rear view with mild curiosity. MS. Hale, slumming it. I forced her laugh, light and dismissive. Research. Darling. Always research. The building squatted on 10th Avenue. A pre-war walk-up with peeling paint and a buzzer that wheezed like an asthmatic. No doorman. Just a flickering hall light smelling of garlic and despair. I climbed to the 4th floor. Keyring jangling, hers, lifted from her purse.
My purse now.
The door stuck, warped from humidity.
Inside.
The place was a tomb, blinds drawn, Merlot stains on the carpet. My box of fired goods spilled across the floor. And there, slumped on the futon,
was me.
Elizabeth's face, pale and tear-streaked, eyes wild as she clutched a kitchen knife. She lunged as I entered, blade flashing. "Who the fuck are you? Get out." I dodged. Her reflexes sluggish in this body, too much Pilates. Not enough street fights. "Liz. It's me." "Elizabeth." "Stop, it's really me." She froze, knife trembling, scanning my face, her face for lies. "Bullshit. You're her. Victoria. You framed me, you bitch." The words landed like slaps, but I held up my hands, slow. "Look at me. Really look. That scar on the thumb, from the canning accident at Grandma's? The tattoo on the hip. Carpe diem from spring break '09? It's me. Something happened. Last night. The mirror. The dizziness. Her eyes widened, the knife clattering to the floor. She touched her, my cheek, then mine. A mirror image of horror. Oh God.
How?
This isn't. We collapsed together. Two strangers in stolen skins, babbling theories. Curse? Gas leak hallucination?
No.
The details anchored it, her memories flickering in my head like static. Mine and hers. Flashes of her childhood in Greenwich. Summers on yachts, mine of cornfields and community college grind. The swap was total. Irrevocable. "I don't know how to fix it," I whispered, her voice cracking for the first time. Vulnerable. It suited her. But I know who to blame. She did this, somehow. That mentorship. It was grooming. She planted those doubts. Made me carry her sins. Liz, no. In my body. She was Liz now, nodded fiercely. The fight draining out. She confessed to me once. Half drunk at that gala. The Meridian shells? Her ex-husband's old laundering scheme. Dusted off for profit. She needed a fall guy.
Me.
Rage reignited. Shared now like a virus. We plotted over cold pizza from the fridge. Her world shrinking to my shoebox existence. "You stay here," I said. "Act like me, job hunt. Lay low. I'll be her. Ruin her from the inside." Liz balked. "You're not a killer,
Beth.
but I was in this skin. Watch me." That night, in Victoria's penthouse, I dove into her digital crypt. Passwords cracked with muscle memory, her habits bleeding into me. Emails from a decade ago, bribes to regulators, affairs with married VPs, a slush fund for disloyal employees. And the big one, a hidden drive on her laptop, labeled contingencies. Files on me, psych evals she'd faked, therapy notes forged to paint me unstable. Potential liability, one memo read. "If Meridian blows, redirect to Harper. She's loyal to a fault." Loyal. The word tasted like bile. Deeper, correspondence with a shady neurotech firm. Project Echo, experimental neural mapping for enhanced empathy training. Emails hinted at black market trials, swapping perspectives to understand adversaries. Had she tested it on me? During that team-building retreat last month. The weird VR headsets? Christ. She dosed us. Gambled on science to bury her tracks. If the swap stuck, I'd weaponize it. Monday bled into Tuesday. The city a pressure cooker. Victoria's, my calendar was a minefield. Client lunches, SEC depositions. I played the part flawlessly. Her charm a script I devoured. At a power brunch in the Four Seasons, I confessed more, leaked her bribes to a sympathetic reporter, disguised as remorse. By evening, CNBC looped it. Hail heir apparent falls. Insider trading scandal rocks Wall Street. Her shares tanked 30%. Vultures circled for buyouts. But power's addictive, and so was the access. I wired funds from her accounts, subtly, to my offshore setup Liz jury-rigged from my laptop. Not enough to steal, just to starve her escape. Nights, I'd slip out in disguises, tailing her old haunts, the Met Gala crowd, where whispers branded her toxic. One encounter gutted me, a former lover, a senator, who sneered over martinis.
Vic.
You're finished. That stunt in the boardroom? Desperate. I smiled her smile, filed it away. Liz called from a burner, her voice mine edgy. Cops came by, asking about you, me. The fraud. I played dumb, but they're digging. Paranoia set in. Was the swap fraying? Dreams blurred, her memories of burying a rival's career. Mine of a father's abandonment. I woke sweating, convinced she'd engineered this as revenge, trapped me in her sinking ship. Midweek, the twist hit. Scrolling her contacts. A name, Dr. Elias Crow, the Echo Project head. I met him in a shadowed booth at the Dead Rabbit, her usual speakeasy dive. He was rumpled academia, tweed jacket, eyes like smoked glass. MS.
Hail.
The trial results. Unexpected. The neural bridge held longer than anticipated. I leaned in, voice low. Undo it.
Now.
He chuckled, sipping scotch. Irreversible. I'm afraid. The synaptic rewrite? Permanent unless we reverse engineer the catalyst. Catalyst. A drug, he'd said. Slipped into drinks at the retreat. But then, you volunteered her. You know. For the empathy module. To toughen her up. Lies? No. Flashes confirmed. I'd signed waivers. Hazy from wine. Victoria hadn't forced it. I'd begged for her approval. Handed her the rope. Doubt cracked my resolve. Was I the villain here? No. Her betrayal predated this. I pressed him. The files. She framed me. Crow shrugged. Collateral. Ambitious women leave bodies. I left with a vile, prototype reversal serum. Untested. Risky, but a lifeline. Back home, penthouse prison, I dosed a glass, staring at the mirror. Her face. Weary now. To hell with you, I muttered, downing it. Vertigo again. Fiercer. But when it cleared, nothing. Still her. The serum fizzled. Crow had played me. Fury peaked. I'd burn it all. Friday loomed. The firm's farewell gala. My stage. Liz and I synced. She'd crash as Elizabeth, confront publicly. I arrived in couture. Diamonds winking like lies. The ballroom glittered, champagne flutes. String quartet droning. Execs mingled. avoiding my gaze. Then, Liz burst in my body, disheveled, shouting, "She's the thief. Victoria Hale stole everything."
Chaos.
Security swarmed. I feigned shock, her poise cracking for show. "Liz, what are you?" But she lunged, spilling wine on my gown, screaming truths, the shells, the frame, the swap. Guests gawked. Phones out. I whispered as guards dragged her. "Finish it. By dawn." Viral clip sealed it. Hale's mad fall guy. Her reputation a smoldering ruin. But as I shed the gown, alone in the penthouse, a call came. "Crow, the serum needs a trigger. Confront your mirror self. Complete the loop. The loop. Face myself, really face." Heart pounding. I drove to Hell's Kitchen, key in hand. Liz waited, knife gone, eyes hollow. "Beth, did it work?" We stood mirror close, breath sinking. "One more try," I said. The vertigo hit as we touched, electric, unraveling. The world folded in on itself. A kaleidoscope of flesh and memory slamming together like freight cars. I felt the pull first, a suction in the chest. Her regrets flooding mine, a loveless marriage, a daughter estranged in boarding school, the hollow echo of boardroom applause. Then mine surged back, the sting of divorce papers, the pride of that first promotion, the quiet terror of being just enough. We gasped in unison, bodies convulsing on the futon as the swap reversed. Skin stretched, bones realigned with wet pops. It was birth and death at once. Agony birthing clarity. When it cleared, I was me again, Elizabeth, in my threadbare sweater, tasting stale air and freedom. Across from me, Victoria blinked from my old body. Her no. My hands flexing like they didn't belong.
What?
"What did you do?" Her voice, in my timbre, cracked with rare fear. I laughed, raw and triumphant. "Gave you a taste,
Vic.
of the bottom." She scrambled up, backing toward the kitchenette, eyes darting to the knife block. "This isn't possible." Crow, he promised control.
Control.
There it was, the puppet master slip. I'd suspected, but hearing it iced my veins. "You did this." The retreat. The drug. To frame me clean, she deflated, slumping against the counter, a titan reduced to mortal. It was supposed to be temporary. Empathy training, they called it. Make you see my side. Back off the meridian flags. But the bridge snapped. I woke up. Here. Her gaze swept the apartment, disgust curling her lip. "In this shithole. With your debts. Your nothing life. My nothing life." The words stung, but I stood taller, the week's armor hardening. "Your life's in ashes now." I torched it, confessions, leaks, the gala meltdown. SEC's raiding your penthouse tomorrow. Boards selling you out. Her face, my face, paled. Realization dawning. "You bitch. You used me against me." Poetic. Right? I stepped closer. The power shift intoxicating. But beneath it, a gnawing void. The swap hadn't just traded bodies, it had traded soul shadows. I saw her now, not monster, but mirror. Ambitious. Scared. Willing to devour kin to survive. Wall Street's siren song. Devouring women who dared climb. You could have shared the burden. Instead, you buried me. She sneered,
Rallying.
Shared? With you? The girl from nowhere. Clutching spreadsheets like lifelines? I built Sterling from daddy's scraps. You were. Expendable. Expendable. The final cut. But I had one card left, Crow's files. Emailed to me during the chaos. I pulled up my phone, projecting to the wall, recordings of her voice. Authorizing echo trials on unwilling staff. Blackmail. Vic? Human experiments? This goes public. It's not just prison. It's war crimes light. Her eyes bulged, scrambling for denial. Fabricated. You're framing me now. Irony. Thy name is vengeance. I hit send. Anonymous drops to the Times. DOJ. Call a justice. You taught me well. She lunged then. My hands clawing for the phone. We grappled. A grotesque tangle of selves, her ferocity in my frame. My exhaustion fueling grit. I pinned her, knee in her gut, whispering hot against her ear. Feel that? That's the weight you put on me. Every doubt.
Every not yet.
She bucked, gasping.
Please.
I have a daughter. Leverage anything. Leverage. The word hung. Tempting. Her daughter. Amelia, 22. Studying art in Paris. Estranged after Vic's affairs shattered the home. A soft spot. Buried deep. But mercy? After the frame. The swaps hell?
No.
Amelia deserves better than your poison. I released her, stepping back as sirens wailed distant, neighbors. Probably. From the gala echo. Victoria curled fetal, sobbing in my voice, a sound that chilled me. You win. But you'll carry it. This darkness. It's in you now. She was right. Damn her. The thrill of ruin tasted like ash, powers high. But the crash? Soul deep. Cops arrived at dawn. Liz me, playing the distraught victim. She broke in, raving. I think she's lost it. They cuffed her gently at first, then tighter when she spat accusations. It's her. She's the thief in my body. Delusion. They chalked it. Psych eval pending. As they let her out, our eyes met, hers, hollow with defeat, mine, steely but cracked. The week blurred into vindication's grind. Sterling reinstated me, heroes welcome, corner office, 7-figure settlement. Headlines crown me whistleblower saint, Harper exposes Hale, Wall Street's reckoning, interviews, TEDx invites, a book deal nibbling. But nights, in the penthouse I'd inherited via asset seizure, sleep evaded. Mirrors mocked me, my face, but shadows of hers lurking in the lines. Dreams replayed the swap, her memories bleeding, temptations whispering. Bribe that contact? Bury that rival? The line blurred. Liz, no. I was Liz again. Fully. But echoes lingered. I visited Victoria in Bellevue. The psych ward's sterile hum a far cry from her empire. She sat in scrubs, hair matted, my old features gaunt. Come to gloat. No venom left. Just weariness.
Closure? I lied.
A truth, curiosity. Had the swap scarred her too? She leaned in, voice a rasp. You think you won? Amelia called. Disown me for good. And Crow? He's vanished. But his tech's out there. Swaps happening citywide, ambitious types. Grasping too high. Paranoia? Or warning? Her eyes gleamed. A spark of old cunning. You're next.
Liz.
The darkness finds its way back. I left unsettled, the elevator descent mirroring my spiral. Power's poison, seeping slow. At the firm, temptations mounted, a shady deal from a Hale holdout, promising billions but echoing meridians rot. I flagged it clean, by the book. But doubt nagged. Was I her now? Stronger? Or just waiting to snap? The twist came mid-month. A DOJ summons. Not for me for the files. Crow's lab raided. Echo project exposed. Not one swap, but a network. Victoria hadn't originated it. She'd been a mark, dosed by rivals to destabilize Sterling. The frame? Collateral from a bigger player, the chairman. Skimming for years, using her as shield. She'd taken the fall for him, unknowingly, passing the buck to me. Inversion total. My revenge? Misdirected fury. Punishing a pawn. The chairman confessed under pressure. Suiciding in his cell. Coward's exit. Victoria, cleared of the big sins, walked free on technicalities. Last I heard, she's in witness protection, scraping by in Ohio, my old stomping grounds. Poetic payback. But me, the darkness clung. I quit Sterling,
Cashed out.
started a nonprofit, Ethics Watch for Finance Wolves. Amelia reached out, therapy sessions, tentative coffees. Healing. Maybe. Yet in quiet moments, I wonder, did the swap end or just hibernate? One mirror glance, and I swear I see her smirk. Vengeance's bill comes due, in echoes and what-ifs. Worth it? Asked the woman who stared down the abyss and blinked first. Months later, the skyline still mocked me from my new loft in Brooklyn, less penthouse glamour, more exposed brick authenticity. I'd traded the corner office for a co-working space, the settlement funding my watchdog group, Harper Integrity Fund. We audited firms pro bono, exposed the grime under the gloss. From the ashes, my tagline read, a phoenix nod that felt half-earned. Reporters called me the conscience of Wall Street. I called bullshit in private. A conscience doesn't swap souls to get even. Amelia Hale became an unlikely anchor. 22 and fierce, with her mother's cheekbones but none of the chill. We'd met for coffee after her email. Heard you wrecked Mom. Thanks. And it snowballed. Walks in Prospect Park. Her venting about Paris heartbreaks. Me spilling the swaps fever dream. You lived her life? She'd asked, wide-eyed over lattes. Felt her regrets? I nodded, throat tight. Every cutthroat choice made me question mine. She visited weekly now, sketching in my living room while I crunched data. You're not her, she'd say, unprompted. You're better. But doubt's a persistent ghost. Echo Project fallout rippled. Lawsuits. Congressional hearings. Whispers of underground swaps among the elite. Crow surfaced in Singapore, peddling perspective therapy to oligarchs. I testified. Voice steady. It doesn't build empathy. It breeds monsters. Victoria vanished into obscurity. Last ping a LinkedIn profile for consulting in Dayton. Ohio cornfields. My childhood haunt. Karma's cruel joke. Part of me itched to track her. Finish the score. But the other part, the one that woke sweating from her memories, recoiled. What if confronting her triggered another flip? Or worse, what if I liked it again? The climax brewed at the annual Finance Ethics Summit, a glittering affair at the Javits Center. Irony, Sterling and Hale sponsored, rebranded post-scandal. I keynote Trust's fragile ledger to a room of suits who'd once shunned me. Spotlights hot. Applause polite. Then, Q&A, a hand rose in the back. Her. Victoria. In off-the-rack jeans, my old body softened by time and meds. Gasps rippled, security tensed. MS. Harper, she called. Voice, mine, amplified by mic feedback. You spoke of betrayal. But what of redemption? I lost everything, daughter. Name.
Self.
Was your revenge worth my ruin? The room froze. A powder keg. Camera's word. Tweets fired live. My pulse thundered. The old vertigo teasing edges. Run the script. Deny. Deflect. Or truth bomb. The swap. The shared sins. I stepped to the edge. Meeting her gaze, my gaze. Haunted now. Worth it?
No. Necessary?
Yes. Murmurs swelled. You framed me, dosed me, turned me into your shadow. But the swap. It showed me us. Two women clawing the same ladder, stepping on next to climb. Your ruin mirrored mine, taught me mercy's the real power. She held my stare, tears tracking. Then why leak the recordings? DOJ cleared me. Lie, I'd held back the worst, bargaining her silence for Crow's leads. Because mercy isn't erasure. It's accountability. Start over. Vic. In my old skin, you know the bottoms, not the end. The crowd erupted, claps, jeers, a media frenzy. She nodded once, sharp, then slipped out amid flashes. Later, a note under my hotel door. Truce. V. No signature needed. Truce. The words settled. Uneasy peace. But twists don't end tidy. Weeks on, a package arrived, unmarked, from Dayton.
Inside.
A vial, Crow's serum, labeled true reversal, and a letter in her script, 1 dose for each. Or neither. Your call. Darkness shared is darkness halved. I stared at it, mirror looming.
Poured out?
Test fate? The decision loomed, controversial as sin. Swallow the past, or let it fester. Pouring it down the drain felt like surrender. To what?
Exactly?
The woman I'd become. Forged in her fire? Or the girl who'd trusted too blind? I chose neither. Mailed it to Amelia. For art's sake. Destroy it. She texted back. Burned. Coffee. Laughter bubbled. Real and light. Vengeance's arc bent not to destruction, but reinvention. Wall Street spun on. Wolves in sheep's wool. But I'd carved my niche. Thorn in the paw. Yet in quiet nights, whiskey in hand, I ponder the what-ifs. If I'd stayed swapped, ruled her empire, drowned in its rot, or if she'd won me in obscurity, her unscathed, the debate rages internal, hero or villain, justice or grudge. Readers, hell. You pick sides.
Me?
I sleep sounder now.
Scars and all.
America's dream. Climb. Conquer.
Crash.
I crashed hers. Rebuilt mine. Fit for the job? Damn right. And Monday? Just another rewrite waiting.